Did you hear about that sister who took Ovasitol and finally got her period after a year of not having one?
Incredible. I see those kinds of messages on Instagram a lot. How does that even happen?
Well, Ovasitol helps with healing insulin resistance, a common root issue that most PCOS sisters have. And by targeting insulin resistance, we're seeing sisters kick those crazy cravings, finally regulate their periods, ovulate, and improve their egg quality. Each packet of Ovasitol has a 40-to-1 ratio of myoinositol and D-chiroinositol. This ratio is similar to the ratio that should be found in the body, but with women like me who have PCOS, this ratio is often imbalanced. So, taking Ovasitol can be super effective in treating insulin resistance, starting from the root of the issue.
So awesome. It tastes like nothing, so just warn me when you put it in a cup so I don't drink it.
You got it, boo. Check out the link in the description to get 15% off your order.
Alright, babe, let's take a moment to correct our posture, take a deep breath, and have some pure spectrum CBD.
Sure. Hey sisters, CBD can help with acne, inflammation, anxiety, sleep, and so many other PCOS symptoms. I personally take it throughout the day to help keep my stress hormones nice and low. Not to mention, I sleep like a baby every night and I don't wake up fatigued at all.
Now open your mouth please so I can give you a serving.
Ah.
Now hold it for 60 seconds. Head over to purespectrumcbd.com and use the code THESISTERHOOD, one word, for 10% off.
Can I stop now?
Nope, you got 30 more seconds.
Doctor said you got PCOS. Now go on, girl, just lose some weight. Till I took the symptoms into my own hands and reversed them naturally. So I became a dietitian to help my sisters feel the best they've ever felt. Take a step in my direction if you wanna prove them wrong and take control of yourself. Join a sister and a mister.
Do we have a magical intro time you want to do for this episode?
I do want to tell the sisters something new that I learned about you that I really just didn't realize until recently during the election. You're obsessed with data. And I think this is why you make such a great co-host on this podcast. Because when we're like learning and reading about studies about PCOS and like when we interview people about PCOS, you really pick up on the fine details and the data they present. When they present like research studies, you repeat them in episodes later. You know, and I always knew this about you, but now it's an obsession. Okay. You sisters should see this man with the election.
Are you? Okay, so it's because of the election. Okay.
The election, it's fantasy football, it's Bitcoin. I'm putting it all together now and it's really making sense. I didn't realize it until the election happened.
Yeah. Oh, if you're listening, we should say we recorded this a bit earlier. So like when you're listening, the election is just happening. It's like the second day where they haven't counted the votes yet. Whatever is happening, we don't know yet.
Tell us, Sirak, you know. You know. You've been watching it all day and yesterday.
Well, it's so funny because the election is just like almost like football. There's like all these numbers like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Arizona, 47% counted, 98% outstanding.
Sirak even joked about going live and like watching the election live and like talking about the data and his prediction. And he's like doing the calculations of like how many electoral votes like, you know, so and so needs and what state needs to be won and the likelihood.
Honestly, I was so ahead of the channels because like they were still on this talking about this state where I was like, okay, this state's over. It's all about this state. And, and if he doesn't win this, then it's like over. I was like, basically, I was mimicking John King. If you guys know who that was, just like Google John King and election. He's the guy who's in front of the screen and like zooming in and zooming out.
You even called him handsome.
I thought he was sexy. I did. I said this guy is so sexy.
It's because he's reading data. Fox. What do I need to do? Read data?
He's a silver-haired fox. I don't know what to say. And he was just like talking about, he was like well-dressed and just like talking about things and like that. And like, I'm not even, I don't know.
A fox? What are you saying?
I don't know. And there was like several channels. I was going between all the different channels and he was my favorite host, I should just say. But you know, all the channels were just each saying their own stuff.
Ladies, he does the same for football and he does the same for Bitcoin. And then there was one more thing I can't remember.
I don't know. I just like numbers. I don't know what to say. And maybe you're right. That's why I'm so I can be so helpful with like retaining the information.
Sometimes you'll like spew like details from a previous episode from long ago, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot that, you know, it's that study or like that percentage or something, and just like sticks to you. Yeah. All you need is like one of those poles to like point to the screen, and God. You would live
laser
for
pointer.
It. Exactly.
Pew, pew, pew. One day.
Oh gosh.
Maybe one day the podcast will have like a green screen behind it. We can like have a presentation style.
Oh my God.
Anyways, welcome sisters to this episode. We should at least tell you what we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. All right. So today's episode is going to be about endocrine disruptors. Now, when we say endocrine disruptors, I feel like this sounds like what is this? Like it's like this weird thing, but it's actually so common. Things such as nail products, like shampoos, hair dyes, so many of very common products that we use today are actually endocrine disruptors.
Soaps, cleaning supplies, there's so many all over our houses.
Yeah. And I mean, we should start, babe. Can you explain what that means? Like what it means to be an endocrine disruptor?
Sure. So the endocrine system is the way our organs talk to each other. They communicate through hormonal signals. And when you have an endocrine disruptor, it disrupts this system. And it basically, this toxin will clog the receptor site on your organ, and that hormone won't be able to latch onto that receptor site and do its job. Yeah. So it's disrupting the hormonal communication in your body. And that's why it's one important component for women with PCOS, because we already have this hormonal imbalance going. And so the more disruption we have from toxins, the worse it can get.
Yeah, that's a great explanation right there. I don't even feel like I need to further explain it, but basically the receptor gets blocked and it's not able to, the hormone is not able to do its job.
Exactly.
And the more issues can
disrupt it.
It disrupts the whole system. So, and sorry.
And they're everywhere. You know what I mean? So we really want to break it down in this episode so that you're not overwhelmed by it. And later we'll talk about some of the endocrine disruptors that we've replaced in our house.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like this episode won't be about scaring you about these kinds of products. It'll be more about like helping you learn and at least find like a good balance between which products maybe like are better for you and which products you can use.
Yeah, exactly. It's taken me a while to figure this out, so I'll break it down.
Yeah. So I think the first thing, the great thing to start with is also debunking the estrogen myth. What is that big myth?
Yes, it has a lot to do with estrogen dominance. So here's the thing. They often say that women with PCOS have estrogen dominance, and it sounds like we make too much estrogen, but that's not the truth. The hormone estradiol, it's a form of estrogen, is actually typically low in PCOS women because our ovaries actually make less estrogen. But because of the way that our body works, we tend to be called estrogen dominant because of these toxins that mimic estrogen. And so that's why they call us estrogen dominant. And so there are a couple of reasons, and we'll get into them, why we have this estrogen dominance, why we're not able to detoxify ourselves or we absorb more endocrine disruptors.
This is really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like they think you're actually getting a lot of estrogen, but in fact, it's the endocrine disruptors in many cases mimicking
exactly
the estrogen.
Yeah.
And you're actually more than likely low in estrogen.
Well, yeah, low in the actual estrogen that's natural that we need. Exactly.
All right. So what are the reasons for I don't know, I felt like I read it like a villain. The reasons. What are the reasons for estrogen dominance?
So the first reason that people call women with PCOS estrogen dominant is because they're blending it with the endocrine disruptors. So like I said, and this is called xenoestrogens. These are called xenoestrogens, chemicals in our environment that act upon estrogen receptor sites. So women with PCOS do have estrogen dominance if you count these chemicals that are in plastics that mimic estrogen, and they work on the estrogen receptors. So I'm talking about the plastic Tupperwares. I'm talking about the plastic scrubby that we use in the shower that I recently realized and replaced.
That was in your stories.
You've heard people saying like, don't microwave your food in a plastic container.
Crazy. Hold on, like the in the shower, the thing you scrub your skin with, that can have like disruptors in there?
Yeah, it's
like what is that's
mine
crazy.
was made of plastic, and I was showering and I was like, hot water, plastic. What am I doing? Get this away from me.
That's a good way to change something else.
Yeah.
It's like a minor change.
Then we have that tea, the Peak tea.
Yeah, it doesn't have the plastic in the tea bag, which can obviously be an endocrine disruptor. That's a good replacement.
With hot, yeah, because like you put it in hot water, those plastic tea bags. It's these little things that really do add up. Like think of it this way: those xenoestrogens in that plastic that you're consuming is clogging up those receptor sites, and it makes a difference in our skin health, in our like general health with PCOS.
Yeah. Okay.
There's another reason.
Yeah, another reason for estrogen dominance is that women with PCOS have reduced capability of eliminating toxins, and they bioaccumulate these xenoestrogens. When they compare BPA levels, women with PCOS actually have higher levels.
Yeah, because we can't get rid of them the way that other women may be able to. So it stores in our fat cells, it stores in our bodies, and not just that, it has to do with how we degrade and eliminate estrogen through the gut and the liver.
Yeah, because sometimes like women with PCOS may not have a healthy gut or liver due to the different symptoms of like insulin resistance and other symptoms that they may be experiencing with PCOS.
Insulin resistance can lead to to liver, fatty liver, and then the foods that we eat or the stress that we have can lead to leaky gut. And these are all important components of detoxifying our body. And so we tend to have like these issues, and they dysregulate our ability to eliminate these toxins. And that's how, because that's how we become estrogen dominant. We can't get rid of them. We absorb them more. It's just a mess for us with PCOS. We're very susceptible to these things. So if you look at real ovarian estradiol, like the good estrogen that we make, women with PCOS are actually deficient. And those toxic xenoestrogens and poor estrogen metabolism contribute to what we call estrogen dominance. So we're just clarifying this like myth about estrogen dominance, and it's really good for everyone to know what this means and how we can help it when we're diagnosed with it. Let's say you have a blood test and you have really high estrogen levels. You can realize that, what type of estrogen, break it down. Is it estradiol or is it xenoestrogens?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a test that people can do to like know what you have of each, or like to kind of be like, oh, okay, I have maybe too much, maybe I should cut down on certain products?
Well, I actually had a Dutch hormone test done, and it told me how much estradiol I had. Oh, okay. And that was a while ago. I don't think you can test for xenoestrogens like generally through a blood test. I'd have to look into that. But you can look into what types of estrogen you have, how much you have them, because estrogen's broken down, So that's a good sign to see if it's actually high or if it's actually low. Yeah. And then realize, maybe it's xenoestrogens. Maybe we need to clean up our environment. Yeah.
So if this is something like with estrogen, like you're thinking, oh, am I like too low, too high? Just get that test done. See what the level with your estradiol is, and it'll be a good indicator for like a next step.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's important to remember too, like PCOS is an endocrine disorder. And like the organs talk to each other through these hormone messengers, and it's a very important like system in the body that you want to like maintain, especially with PCOS. So like you just want to make sure that the xenoestrogens aren't latching on and disrupting this.
Exactly, it can contribute to all of our PCOS symptoms.
Yeah.
So it's just, other than diet, this is lifestyle, endocrine disruptors.
And to continue, we're going to now talk about the 3 common endocrine disruptors to look out for. The first one is dioxin. Dioxin is an environmental pollutant found in herbicides and paper bleaching, and even found in food. It can be highly toxic and can cause serious reproductive problems.
Right. You want to look at that ingredient label and see if it says anything related to dioxin, ending in dioxin, or dioxin in general. because apparently it can be an endocrine disruptor, and studies are showing it can cause reproductive issues. Like, my God.
Yeah.
You know, these are like common products.
Yeah,
found in common products.
Yeah, like, and who knows, like, maybe you're just like, there's like a certain product that may have more of it or something like that. So it's good to look out for it, check the ingredients.
Right.
Next one.
Bisphenol A, aka BPA.
That's the big one.
Yes. Estrogen mimicking compounds. Okay. So studies show that exposure of rats to BPA is linked with PCOS-like symptoms and dysregulation of insulin. So, I mean, of course, this study was done on rats. Obviously, it's not humans, but it still shows that BPA is linked to PCOS-like symptoms and dysregulating insulin. And so that just goes to show, like, all these people who are saying, you know, watch out for BPA, especially for women with PCOS. You know, it's very important for our cells' health to watch out for BPA.
And you may be wondering, like, oh, how do they allow people, like, companies to make products with these ingredients, and like, how is this legal? So the thing is, there are laws against like these products, but the laws are only for short term, meaning you can't have a certain amount of BPA that's going to cause so and so from that one serving. So maybe the one time you use that certain product, is it going to actually cause anything? Most likely not, right? Your body will be able to kind of like detoxify it if it's only just one time. However, the thing with like these products like BPA and dioxin and these like endocrine disruptors is that over time, your body just builds like a storage, like it's not able to detox
them.
Yeah, and it just like builds storage, and it stores in the fat cells and different areas, and then that's where it can eventually like cause like a lot worse
disruption of your hormones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, it's not the one time that you eat it. It's like after like 5 years of using the same products or same plastic containers, or like, you know, water bottles. Like, it's such a common thing. You know, some people just have plastic water bottles that they grab every single day. Like, after a while with PCOS, it can get to you.
Yeah, it's interesting how like they don't look at the long-term, you know, research and studies to like make these laws. Like, it just probably shouldn't be allowed, period. If it's gonna, like, who's gonna not use that product for a long time? Like, they don't know. And sometimes
we get containers that say BPA free, and even those may have something similar to BPA, so it's not actually a good replacement. If it's still plastic, they're just using like a different version of BPA.
And we talked about this with Dr. Tom O'Brien. He joined our podcast episode like I think like 10 episodes ago. You can find it in the episode list, but he talked about like BPA and these different products, and like how like you just got to go with glass to be the most like to be the safest option, is just glass containers. And he like talked about a lot of the research studies that showed like pregnant women and their BPA levels, and how it impacted the cognitive development of their children like 7-10 years down the line. Like, we talked about it on the podcast, and it's like crazy to think, right? Like, how something now can impact your life 20-30 years from now.
You are totally right, and you're also proving my point earlier in this podcast when I talked about how good you are at retaining data. You are literally pulling from a podcast episode from like months ago,
and like pulling research studies on like 7 to 10 years. With that being said, don't be scared, sisters. We're going to talk about, you know, ways you can like not be worried about this stuff, and like, it's obviously you don't have to quit everything, and you don't have to like, you know, just be completely, I don't know, living in glass houses or something. But okay, lastly though, the third endocrine disruptor that's very common is pesticides. Like, you know, like DDT was like the very bad pesticide that used to be. I don't think it's used anymore from in America, but they used to use it a lot. But yeah,
it affects your reproductive system. You know, you can look up the Dirty Dozen, which are the foods that are recommended to buy organic versions of. And especially like anything that you can peel, you want to peel off like the top layer so that you're not consuming what's exposed to any pesticides. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to buy everything organic.
Actually,
but, you know.
Yeah, it says DDT is still used in South America, Africa, and Asia. And farmers use DDT on a variety of food crops in the United States and worldwide. But I don't think it's still used anymore.
It's effective.
Yeah, it banned it in 1972. But you know, like I'm sure we get some products from outside the country, you know, so who knows. But
oh my god, we do. Like we get all types of fruits and vegetables even when they're out of season because they come from other countries.
Yeah, so
maybe they are using it. Oh gosh. Okay, so deep breaths, sisters.
Yeah, deep breaths.
You know, like Sirak said, one step at a time. You don't have to overhaul everything.
Yeah, and like find the balance. So like let's be honest, like Tallene, what do you use personally that you think is an endocrine disruptor? And I'll start by naming your nails. You get your nails done. And you know what? I'm happy you do, and they look great. They look beautiful. No complaints there. But obviously, it's not like you're getting the most friendly nails, right? It's like,
it's true. They're not PCOS friendly, and I'm here to say it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's all types of chemicals. I get this thing called silk. You know, it's not acrylic. It's like silk that they glue onto your nails. And I'm sure it's so bad. But you know what? Like, I do my best. Let me just have this one thing. You know, you can't be like completely perfect at everything. Maybe one day, but not right now. I try. Like the other day, I told you I was showering and I realized that the loofah is made of plastic. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, get it away from me. And then even the plastic shower curtain, I heard like that steam, that hot water.
Are you serious?
That can leach.
Okay, see, that's where you lost me right there. The steam and the shower. What am I going to just shower like completely naked out to the world?
I don't know. Like a glass shower door is ideal.
Glass is the answer.
Also, you remember the coffee cup lid?
So when you drink
was telling us about?
When you drink coffee, the steam, like from Starbucks, the steam from the coffee hit the plastic lid that you're sipping from, and that is actually releasing BPA,
leaching it into, you know, how the steam like hits the plastic and then drips down back into the couch.
Or the couch, what was it? If you do something to it,
Scotch Guard.
If you Scotch Guard anything, it basically is an endocrine disruptor. It can be so many things.
Yeah, I mean, we have a list here. We're like bouncing up and down the list, but. You know what? Actually, you know, sidetrack, but even Swiffer, like we are stepping barefoot on the floor. We have pores at the bottom of our feet, large pores that absorb like more than most of our body, like at the bottom of our feet. And we're stepping on our cleaning solutions that we're using on our floors.
Well, ours, at least we use the organic stuff.
We use organic
which doesn't work. It barely cleans. But at least I know it's been cleaned, even though if it doesn't look like the stains are gone. But, you know, at least I tried my best.
Well, I mean, I looked up Swiffer on the EWG website, which is where I look up all the levels of toxicity of all the products that I use. And like Swiffer was pretty bad.
Really?
So you can't convince me to get any Swiffer in this house.
We don't use Swiffer, so I usually just vacuum and then we wipe it once a week and boom.
I know. We use the healthy stuff. Does it work?
No.
Who knows?
Anyways, as we were saying, we're talking about like, you know, like how we were exposed. You know, there's makeup, plastic bottles, canned food, receipts. Do you know that receipts have a lot of BPA on them, or was it BPA or was it dioxin?
BPA.
And like cleaning products, we're talking about. You know, when you reheat leftovers in plastic. But you know, like there can be so many places. But one thing you can do is like there's a website, EWG. Did you say?
Yes.
We'll link it in the description. Basically, there's a website that tells you what products are the most. Maybe take a look, see what's the most, and then see like maybe like you can remove one or two. And like obviously, let's not panic here and remove everything.
Exactly.
But just try your best to like go at a pace where you can remove one or two things and then like feel a bit better. Maybe help a little bit of that your endocrine system out.
Yeah, when you buy new products after you run out of what you have, just consider buying a more organic or like hormone friendly product. Look something up on EWG's website and see like what might be better than what you're already using. You don't have to like grab everything and throw it away at once, even though you really want to.
Yes, absolutely. I know. I want to. That's how I am too. But let's do the 8 tips.
Okay, let's do it.
So we have 8 tips how to cut out endocrine disruptors. These are like 8 quick tips you can maybe start today, and you know they're quick tips, so you don't have to go all in, right? It's just like a couple of small things you can do. First one is clean up your shower. Replace your plastic loofah, your soaps. You know, like the plastic shower curtain, like one of those, right?
Yeah, one of those. Just start with one.
Yeah.
The other day I did the loofah. Yeah. Whatever. I did the soap a year ago. I swapped all of our soaps, made sure that they were hormone friendly.
And I'm still pretty clean, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Second one, clean up your pantry. So, for example, plastic Tupperwares, you can replace them with like high quality food grade silicone, and then or like stainless steel. Pyrex makes some great glass containers. I think glass is like the best.
Yeah. So, I bought new Tupperwares and I was all about them until I realized that the lid was plastic.
Yeah, what's that
and
about?
I was like, what am I doing? I thought this was healthy.
So how do you do? I don't know how you.
Isn't
how do you get glass on glass to shut down though? You need a seal.
You need
a plastic seal.
Or maybe a silicone seal.
Gosh darn it.
Anyways.
Why can't NASA make something? NASA, you gave us a mattress. You gave us Tempur-Pedic. Why can't you give us some sort of a container? All right. Third one is this is like my favorite one out of this whole list because it's the easiest one and I think it's like the most common one is get a glass water bottle to replace plastic bottles and avoid plastic cups when you order hot drinks.
Yeah. Have your own reusable tumbler. Is that what it's called?
And I mean like really like the plastic water bottles are so bad. No joke. When you keep on reusing them, it's actually even worse because it's like over constant wear, it's releasing more. And plus a lot of those plastic water bottles, when you like, let's say you may buy them from like a store, right? Like get the 12, 24 big box. But like that, who knows where that came from? Like how long it took, how long it was in a hot truck, how long it was exposed to the sun, maybe when it was outside, like where did it come from? It's just like so many variables. Whereas if you just, that's okay. Whereas if you just have like a water container, like some sort of thermos, what are they called?
For example, I think thermos is what it's called. But for example, Sirak's awful water jug from Takea.
I love Takea. Obviously, this is not sponsorship at all.
So not on brand with the color. Every
like
time I do
green.
A story, it's this gigantic lime green bottle.
She always tells me to like move the water bottle because it doesn't go with her aesthetic.
Okay, next.
Okay.
Peel all non-organic fruits and vegetables. Buy grass-fed and choose seasonal foods.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. I like to make sure that the packaging says like hormone free and like grass-fed and all of the nice things.
Yeah.
I try to buy from the deli, or is that what it's called? So that it's not wrapped in plastic already. Like I just buy it from the butcher.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot of times more fresh that way too.
Yeah, exactly.
And like so with the fruits, veggies, like if it's non-organic, like peel them because you don't know what was on the skin.
Yeah, it's wax, whatever. You don't want to consume that.
And then with the grass-fed, like obviously a lot of like farms in America, like they have like a lot of different hormones and stuff it give to the cows in order to keep them like sustainable and keep like milking them and stuff. It's just like it's very sad what they do, but going organic or grass-fed can help with that. Okay.
The next one's really good. Replace your sunscreen if it has parabens. These 2 parabens are the top 2 found in sunscreen. 4-MBC is the name of one, and benzophenone is the name of another.
I'm going to say something about this one. We tried this last summer. We bought one. It was this cream, and it was so bad. Every time we would use it, basically you put it all over I would put it all over my upper body, and I would just be white. Like my skin would have the white cream on top crusted over. So the whole time it looked like I was just like someone had just rubbed me in some sort of like heavy cream, like whipped cream. That didn't like absorb. And then like I would go into the water and then it would just all come off. And then
that was not a good idea. We need to get a new one. That's the thing. You have to try one. You have to try them out, you guys. Like sometimes it's not going to work out. I buy soap, detergent, things like that. I don't like it. I change it every time I buy it because I want to see which one I like.
Speaking of detergent, I think we've tried literally like 6 or 7 different brands that are all like natural and like organic without all the harmful ingredients. I think I finally found one. I'll let you guys know if it's the one, but I'm on like the 4th, 5th one. I'm not sure. Yes, I am the one doing, because one of my duties in the house is to do the laundry. That's right. I don't fold. I'm going to be clear about this right now. I don't do the folding, but I do the washing. Not by hand, the machine. I load the machine. I put the powder. I transport to the dryer, and I transport to the basket.
And then he transports it to me.
And that is the deal we have made in this house, the bylaws that we have agreed upon.
Yeah, and it works. Floors and laundry and dishes.
and vacuuming.
I said floors.
Yes, that's right. Floors envelops vacuuming and wiping.
Exactly.
So. Okay. Next one, cosmetics.
So avoid synthetic fragrances in cleaning products and candles. So obviously, I'm not telling you to go to the bathroom and throw everything away, but I am saying every time you buy a new one, consider ordering from a more hormone-friendly brand. I like Beauty Counter. They have great beauty products. Also candles, like you really want to make sure you're not buying candles that are toxic because they like release the toxins and you're breathing them in the air. So I like to buy really organic and clean products. Sometimes they're made of like coconut. Sometimes they're made with essential oils for the fragrance, not like, oh my gosh, I literally... Now with fragrances, I know if something's synthetic because it instantly gives me this like nauseated feeling
like
and a headache. Yeah. I literally can't stand it anymore because I've cleaned my fragrance, in terms of fragrance, my environment of fragrances that are synthetic. So make sure you're getting clean candles.
Yeah. And for candles, shout out to Mome, M-O-M-E candle. Like they're one of our favorite candles. I mean, I don't know. I feel weird saying one of our favorite candles, but Tallinn got it, and
we light a candle every night.
Yeah, and it's from an Armenian brand. I mean, we're not affiliated at all. Like, there's no like obviously sponsorship on the podcast, but we just personally like them. They smell great and
so good.
They're from an Armenian company, and they're like donating a percentage to Armenia. So like that's great. Like great to buy from them.
I love them.
Yep.
Try not to handle paper receipts. That's our 8th tip. You mentioned this earlier.
Oh yeah,
those BPA in the receipts at the cash register.
It has so much. You said, right?
It has like it has the highest amount I've read.
That's crazy. The paper.
You touch it and it gets in your pores. Ink. Sometimes you put hand sanitizer after you go grocery shopping, and then you touch the receipt, then it absorbs even more.
Wow.
Like you really have to think about these things.
Just
be
don't
like,
take it.
Email me the receipt, or just like grab it and throw it away. Like,
or don't take it. Like, I mean, who returns something to the grocery store? I get it for like when you're buying something big, obviously, like you're
sometimes
it's but like grocery store, I every time we go to like grocery store, I never get the receipt. I'm like, oh no, thank you, and then
because I don't want to come back just to return like something random.
But I get it, like if you're gonna return, actually, sorry sisters, definitely take the receipt if you need to. Don't just not. It's like you buy a laptop and you don't take the receipt, and then you have to like return it.
Okay, yeah, there's that.
All right. Okay, so those are our 8 tips, and then we actually asked you, sisters, on Instagram, PCOS.weightloss. If you don't follow, make sure you follow us on at PCOS.weightloss. On DMs, we asked you, what endocrine disruptors have you swapped?
All right. Sailor Moon Lover says, I got rid of plastic bottles, switched body and face washes as well.
Nice.
That's great.
Plastic bottles, I love that, and I think, Tallinn, you did the same thing with your face wash, right?
Yes.
You got micellar water?
Yeah, it's just...
How do I know these things?
I don't know. How do you know that?
Next one is...
Amazon order? Is that why?
No, I just see it because you leave everything out.
How dare you? I never leave stuff out.
Okay. First of all, we're not supposed to lie on the podcast.
No. Stop it. It's in that side mirror cabinet. Read the next one.
You know what? I'm going to just be the bigger man here and let it go. Ashley Hiller says, all ! Skincare, toothpaste, deodorant, lotions. I only use Young Living products. I haven't heard of that brand, but Young Living, we'll check that out.
I looked them up. They're great.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Nice. And that's great too. She really like replaced a lot of different like things, and the deodorant is one thing that we've done.
Too.
Yeah, lotion, we've definitely replaced that. Toothpaste, I think Tallinn has the toothpaste,
yes,
but I don't use it. I still use the Colgate just because like that fluoride, man. I don't know.
No. The toothpaste I use is so good. Let's link it in the description. The toothpaste and the mouthwash, because oral health is really important for PCOS.
We should just link all the stuff that we personally use, just so that if you're curious and like you want to make some switches, you can find some ones that you know are good from our personal opinion.
We're gonna do it, sisters.
Yeah. All right, next one is J. Martinez Nelson. She says, truly non-toxic household cleaner made with essential oils that help boost immune system. That's cool.
Truly is the brand. Okay. Cool.
Oh, is that the brand? Okay,
yeah.
Truly. Okay. Yeah, like the household cleaner is so big. I mean, you don't want to like step on all that stuff. Mm-hmm. We have a couple. Ours is called Pure or something.
Yes. That's the one we're using now. I always switch it because I don't know.
Yeah.
I just find new ones and try them because honestly, it's only been a year since I've started with like this endocrine disruptor cleansing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
KDM
says cleaners, makeup, beauty products, perfume, so much more.
Perfume.
That's a tough one.
I don't think I'm going to like throw out my Chanel perfume. Like, I'm not going to lie. That's not one that I'm throwing.
How often like do you put it? Like, you put a couple times a week and, you know.
Yeah, or like once a week.
Yeah. Especially now. But yeah, I think.
Especially now.
But like we said, find your balance. Whichever ones you feel are the most important, go for it. So Katie, maybe she found that the perfume was more important for her, and that's great for her.
Maybe she wears it all the time.
Yeah.
Then I would and honestly, if I found a clean perfume brand, I'd probably buy one just to have that and my Chanel.
Yeah, I'm sure there's ones that smell good. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Naturally, Tiffany says plastic food storage. We switch to glass. That's a great one right there. Love that. Chelsea Adamer says, all my beauty, face, and body products and candles to Young Living and essential oils. There's another Young Living.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Holistic Christina says air fresheners. Now use grow room spray and essential oils. Oh, yes. Air fresheners. Oh, my God. Those Glade plugins. Don't get me started. They are so awful.
Wow.
And every time I go to someone's house and they have it in the bathroom or like they have it, I have to like hold my breath. Like I literally can't stand the smell of synthetic things like the Glade air fresheners.
You know, they were so popular at one point too. You would see them at every person's house. Like you would walk in, Glade.
What?
I feel like I don't see them as often now.
Yeah.
Because like they don't really like work. I feel like maybe they do, but I just never like was like, wow, this room smells like
maybe because they're
amazing.
So toxic, people are coming to their senses.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah Nis says plastic water bottles, just started using glass.
That's the best.
Awesome.
That's the best. Glass or any one of those like metal, you know, containers that you can buy.
One step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Remember that, sisters, with these endocrine disruptors, one step at a time. You don't have to replace all these things. You heard us like tallying with our nails, but like, we do other things too. Like I don't know right now off the top of our head, but like we just have certain things that we've switched, like soap, lotion, maybe all the things you heard.
Yeah, soap, lotion, some of my makeup, not my nails, most of the things in the kitchen, no plastic, as best as I can, like clean that out of our vicinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Cleaning supplies. I'm sure we have a long way to go. Maybe when we get a house one day, our furniture and stuff, we'll ask like if it's made of toxic materials, if they've sealed it with toxic materials, but one step at a time.
Exactly. Alrighty. With that being said, we're going to go to the last part of the podcast, the episode, which is the wins of the week. If you're new, every week we like to announce a couple of winners, either from Instagram or from the sisterhood. And they are sisters who are managing their PCOS, you know, like improving their symptoms, losing weight, you know, whatever that may be. We're just always here to basically support them through their success.
And cheer you on.
Exactly.
So the first winner, Maggie Anderson. She says, "Hi sisters, when I was 14 years old, I was overweight. I had irregular periods, unwanted hair, bad acne, and it led me to be diagnosed with PCOS. I had several doctors and specialists weighing me, looking at my body hair, and had to have an ultrasound. I was prescribed metformin, which made me so sick I couldn't go to school, and so I stopped taking it. I remember the specialist told my mom that I would likely be infertile when I am older, which made me cry. Being a teenager, all of this led me to have so much shame around my body and my diagnosis that I didn't even want anything to do with PCOS again and just ignored the symptoms. Now, 10 years later, I stumbled across the sisterhood on Instagram, and after eating gluten-free for 6 weeks, I was already dairy-free before, I have lost 4.3 kilograms, which is 9.5 pounds, and feel so grateful to have found this amazing, informative, supportive system in the sisterhood."
That's amazing, Maggie.
How exciting.
Yeah, that is so exciting. And like, I'm sorry, Maggie, you had to go through, you know, like not feeling supported, you know, earlier.
It's not uncommon to just disregard PCOS until, you know, way later when you feel ready to attack it.
Of course, and that's why, like she said, thank you for this amazing support system. But it's really the sisters, like you, Maggie, and everyone that builds that support system in the sisterhood. Like everyone's talking with each other, helping each other, and that's only through like this supportive system that like basically like
cheering each other on and commenting and all these things.
Yeah, so that's great. I love that.
All right. The next win. Do you want to read it, babe? She's from the sisterhood as well.
All right. Next winner is Izzy Definis. She says, "Hi, I am new here. I've been following the sisterhood Instagram since the summer and went gluten and dairy free late July and lost 16 pounds. Ooh. I finally officially joined the sisterhood and my Ovasitol is coming in tomorrow. Amazing. I recently got blood work and my insulin is extremely high and slightly high testosterone. I get the worst hair under my chin and that is probably one of the most annoying things to me. Hopefully the Ovasitol will help and I'm excited to officially start my journey. I love all your posts and tips, so thanks for that, everyone."
Aww.
So nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, and hang in there, sister. Honestly, with these symptoms, you know, like with the chin under the hair and like with hair loss and hair growth, it's just many times about being patient with like the changes. Like we talk about with insulin resistance, it takes about 6 to 12 months. You've already done a lot of great progress. It sounds like, you know, even before joining the sisterhood, and it's just building on that, you know, that those fundamentals, getting better and better, and then eventually like your symptoms like fully reverse and like, you know.
Exactly.
You're
it just takes time and consistency and a lot of cheering on each other. That's what we do in the sisterhood.
That's right. Yes. All right. That marks the end of this episode.
Thanks so much for listening, sisters. I hope you switch out one of the products in your household for something more PCOS friendly.
Yeah. Alrighty. We'll be back next week. Everyone, have a great one.
Bye. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come check out the Sisterhood. It's my monthly membership site where sisters just like you are learning how to move through the stages of PCOS. From stage 1, cold and alone at the doctor's office, to stage 5, nailing the PCOS lifestyle, gluten and dairy free. Get ready to finally feel in control of your body again.